To the Sunday 9 o'clock meditation. Today we're going to do Sata Na Ma, and I just want to read what that means. Sa is the beginning, so it's going to be Sa Ta Na Ma, and you just keep doing that. It's actually good exercise for your fingers too. So Sa is the beginning, infinity, the totality of everything that ever was, is, or will be. Ta is life, existence, and creativity that manifests from infinity. Na is change and the transformation of consciousness. Ma is rebirth, regeneration, and resurrection, which allows us to consciously experience the joy of the infinite. Now, Sata Na Ma is so primal that its impact on our psyche is like splitting an atom. The power of this mantra comes from the fact that it rearranges the subconscious mind at the most elementary level. It has the power to break habits and addictions because it accesses the level of the mind where the habits are created. I do this every morning, and I put soundscape on, and sometimes I change the notes a little bit to go with what's going on, but just having that music behind it, it's just amazing. So, and that's on the television. But you don't have to have any music. Even if you had like a tabla CD that you played underneath it, or something that is just really mellow. It's the most amazing chant you can do, and it just cleans out all the stuff we're trying to get rid of so that we can be light beings walking on the planet, making the changes we need to help make to bring this planet into order. That is our mission, and that's what we need to do. So any petition, sign, do whatever you can inside. You don't need to go on the streets unless you are so, guided to, but it is the time to take action. Okay. Here we go. Sata Na Ma, Sata Na Ma, Sata Na Ma, Sata Na Ma.
Good morning, everyone. This morning, I'd like to start with a section from the Master's last prayer. Can we have this PowerPoint up, please? This is from John chapter 17, verse 13. But now I am coming to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they may have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them thy word, and the world has hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I do not pray that thou should take them out of the world, but that thou should keep them from evil. I do not pray that thou should take them out of the world, but that thou should keep them from evil. And in some of your Bibles, it will be written, but thou should keep them from the evil one. The evil implied here is the evil of the world. And we need to know something about that. But how is it possible to be in the world but not of the world? What does it actually mean to be in the world and not of the world? It's a reference to the thinking of the world, which derives from the mass hallucination of ego-centered awareness. Listen to that. Someone could actually say that the ego-centered awareness of the world in which we live is just a mass hallucination. Unfortunately, though, we're born into it, raised in it, conditioned to believe in it, educated in it, always with that premise that each of us is a separate body-mind in a world of separate others. This particular illusion of life generates all kinds of over-exaggerated self-interest and self-preservation. So, as long as we're operating in that particular level of awareness, then we will have that huge concern, the over-exaggerated self-preservation and personal self-interest. But in that isolated level of awareness, as an isolated body-mind in a world of separate phenomena and others that don't seem to have my personal self-interest at heart, there is that ongoing, continual fear. So, just imagine how this could be true in a world filled with multi-billions of people. I would ask this question: is there anyone in the world right now without a worry in the world? Is there anyone here that isn't worried about something? Raise your hand if you're not worried about anything. Because if you do raise your hand, you mean you're enlightened. But the unenlightened world, of which most of the people and the multitudes make up, are always worried about something. So you can honestly say that our lives are motivated by fear and concern almost continually. What kind of a life is that each of us is required to live? I like to equate that with something that happened to me many years ago. I was in a pet store buying some specialty things for my dog. And I happened to be looking around, and I saw that there was this large aquarium, a glass aquarium filled with white mice. Only the aquarium was right next to another glass aquarium. I mean, it abutted it, of a king snake. And then on the other side of that, was another aquarium with a bunch of regular house mice. And I confronted the kid in the store. I'm not sure he was the owner. I said, why do you have the mice living right next to the snake they can see? They're focused on the snake every day. It must be terrifying for them. He said, oh, they don't know any better. And I said, look at that aquarium. All the mice are facing the snake. And so it was a disastrous situation. I said, I'll give you $10 if you'll move those aquariums of the mice away from the snake. He said, I have too many snakes. I don't have that kind of room. He had other snakes in the place. He sold snakes, and he carried on that way. He said, so the anxiety that was continual for the mice is like an equation of life as we live it in the ego-centered awareness. There's always that ongoing self-preservation fear, because we're so aligned with the physical body, the personal idea of self being the physical body. It's natural for us to want to protect the body and take care of the body to a certain degree, but you know, it's really strange how people are so locked up in that we are strictly this physical body. So what I call erroneous religion plays upon that and subsidizes itself on that. And truth goes begging in the streets, because the truth is that you're not strictly this physical body. You are a divine entity. You are one with God. And when you know that you are an eternal divine entity, one with God, a lot of the anxiety diminishes, because it's not your only life. And I think we had some good feedback from people who, when they took the series that I did about reincarnation, and people were saying, yeah, it just made me feel free. Made me feel free. What they're saying is free of fear. Because we've actually almost grown used to being anxious about life. We've grown used to it. It's like that's what we believe is reality. But it's not true. Now let me belabor the pet store analogy a moment with this. At some point, the white mice, which are for sale at $6 a piece. The gray mice on the other side, which he sells for people that have snakes that want to feed them, they're simply $2 a piece. Now, when he feeds the king snake or the bull snake that he's got there, he only feeds them the $2 mouse. He never feeds them the white mouse. Because they are valuable. They're more valuable to be sold as pets. Now suppose these white mice who are terrified of the snake, suppose some mouse wakes up, a white mouse wakes up and realizes all the mice that snake has ever eaten are gray. It's not us. When he takes us out of the cage, we go over to the counter, he puts us in a little special cage, and he sells it. We go home with somebody. So one mouse woke up and he's trying to explain to the other mice, there's nothing to be afraid of. You're never going to be sacrificed to that snake. If they get that, if they finally get that, they won't be staring at the snake all the time, they'll be living their lives. And it is the truth about our own condition. When we have the awakened understanding of our eternal soul being, one with God, it shifts our vision completely. When people talk about having a religious experience, or they talk about grace, what happens is there is no divine intelligence withholding grace or withholding the vision of oneness with all life. That intelligence is not withholding that. It is blocked by our fear that we are only these separate physical bodies in a world of separate physical others and phenomena. It's blocked by that. Once that is released, once someone releases that through meditation or prayer or allowing, then there comes upon us a greater infilling of light, which we call grace or we call healing. But it bestows a huge divine peace in our awareness. And we live with a completely different purpose. The purpose that every truly spiritual minister and guru is trying to relate to everyone is this feeling of being one with everything, absolutely everything you look upon as sacred because it's God. It's sacred because it's God. And when you are in that awareness, there is divine light flowing through you because you have now entered into the truth. Listen to it. You thought it was going to happen. Now listen. The truth that makes you free. It's not an intellectual truth. It's a truth about who you truly are. It's a recognition, an opening in the mind of your reality, of being a divine being going through a human experience. And when that is fully downloaded, you are in a state of beautiful, sacred peace. You can call it grace or you can call it whatever you want to. But that's what it is about. That's what happens to someone. So let me share this with you from the master, Ralph Waldo Emerson. Can we have this PowerPoint? You can read this in the Gospel of Emerson on page 10, paragraph 2. Let us hear this new truth. It is very old. It is the old revelation that perfect beauty is perfect goodness. It is the development of the wonderful attributes of the moral law of human nature. Let me enumerate a few. I don't know what that is. The remarkable properties of that nature. Okay, it's fine. Go back. No. Don't leave me out here. Are you kidding? This is terrifying. The remarkable properties of that nature. A person contains all that is needful to the government within himself. He is made a law unto himself. All real good or evil that can befall anyone must be from himself. The purpose of life seems to be to acquaint each of us with himself. He's talking about the true self. And of course, in miracles, they would be capitalizing that self. We are not given to live for the future, but to live in the real future. By living in the real present, the highest revelation is that God is in every person. So, this is just another master who is putting out the words of truth so that we might actually embrace them to a certain place where we actually are seeking to live the moral law. Can I really be out of time already? Okay. So time is fleeting.
Can you see that clock over there?
I can't read
Did you
clocks.
just discover that? There's a clock there.
Are we going to have a spout? A split here? All right.
You can glance at it.
But I thought I had more time. I thought I was supposed to go till 25:2.
It's 25 too. Oh, I'm really early. Oh, I'm really early. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Proof once again that I never make a mistake. So, we are, you know, if you could just take someone and say, look, be beautiful. To be beautiful, you must be good. You can tell a lot of people to be good, and they'll wonder what you're really talking about. How much can I get away with and still go to heaven? No. Be beautiful means to be good. But to be good, here it is. Here it is. Get ready for it. Take this with you. To be good is to recognize everyone and everything as sacred, part of God. You would not want to do anything or think anything in relationship to that which you look upon that you wouldn't want to have done to you or thought about you, because you know you are one with God. And the violation of that awareness holds you in bondage to fear, concern, and disease. I am sharing with you the rock bottom, simplest possible truth that will transform your life. But you have to get it. You have to want it enough to practice the spiritual practices so you catch yourself when you're operating from the unenlightened state of being, when you're operating from the me first, self-centered, fear-driven, individual body-mind. If you can't transcend that, let me say this to you. If you can't transcend that, go to New York City or go to Hollywood and try to become a movie star and make a lot of money, because you'll at least have, those days and weeks where you'll feel okay. Because in our youth, it's true. In our youth, we have what the Star Trek series used to have. Remember on the big Star Trek ship, they had the holodeck. On the holodeck, you could have any fantasy you want. You went inside and had this fantasy. In our youth, we're still on the holodeck, and it's okay to carry on in your fantasies. But at some point, the concern, by the way, never goes away. The idea of being simply a body-mind that is going to perish, and in a world of separate, disinterested conditions, you have that fear that will always be rising up. And then the older you get, the more you have these concerns. So look at what we do. We try to make more money. This is, in the unenlightened state, we're always trying to make more money. And we have to buy more insurance for everything we own. Can you imagine the madness of living in that way? They're trying to sell you insurance for everything. And you buy it. Well, I buy it. Something goes wrong, I'll at least have the money. So let's take a look again at the Master Ralph Waldo Emerson's truth. And we have this next PowerPoint. You can read this in the Gospel of Emerson, page 40, paragraph 3. The lessons of the moral sentiment are, once and for all, an emancipation from that anxiety which takes the joy out of all life. It teaches a great peace. It comes itself from the highest place. It is that which, being in all sound natures, strongest in the best and most gifted people we know, to be implanted by the Creator of all. It is a commandment at every moment and in every condition of life to do the duty that moment and to do the duty of that moment and to abstain from doing any wrong. It is so near and inward and inspirational to each that no commandment can compare with it in authority. All wise humans regard it as the voice of the Creator himself. I'll take that back again. It might be the moral sentiment at the core of our nature, the core of our being, is the nature divine. And it has a moral sentiment to look upon everything as part of yourself, your true self. For it is God, and God is your true self. The lessons of the moral sentiment are, once and for all, an emancipation, a freedom from that anxiety which takes the joy out of all life. It teaches a great peace. It comes itself from the highest place. It is that which, being in all sound natures and strongest in the best and most gifted people we know, to be implanted by the Creator of all. It is a commandment at every moment and in every condition of life to do the duty of that moment and to abstain from doing any wrong. And it is so near and inward and inspirational to each that no commandment can compare with its authority. All wise humans regard it as the voice of the Creator himself. This is the still small voice, and I'm going to give you one word to take with you. I'll give you two words to take with you. What I'm about to say is in the average world, the regular, unenlightened world, the most fearful two words in the entire English language. This is good conscience. The money-driven psychologists down through the ages have tried to alleviate that as part of the human experience. Get rid of that because it only brings guilt. No, no. Good conscience doesn't bring guilt. It brings guidance. If you want to know the still small voice of God, then you tune into good conscience. It's violating good conscience that brings guilt. So what the pop psychologists have tried to do is say, oh no, you shouldn't have that. You shouldn't be guilty. Don't worry about conscience. It's just a problem. It's not a problem because evolution toward the enlightened state of being a universal being, evolution requires good conscience. you can't grow. There'll be people who'll say, well, that's overblown, it's too much, it makes you afraid to really live your life the way you want to live it. I'm not talking here about license. I'm talking about freedom. There's a difference between license, in which people think, well, freedom is being able to do whatever you want to do, etc. No, that's not freedom. That's insanity. That's selfishness personified. If you want life and you want it abundantly, tune into what your heart really feels when it speaks to you. So in living your life, you have this constant guide. Just tune into it. And that's it. If you don't have that yet, just use the golden rule. Do unto everything that lives whatever you would have everything that lives do unto you. If you don't like having a really bad life and terrible things going in your life, I'm telling you, a lot of the terrible things leave. So many of them leave when you're in good conscience, because you have become an emissary of divine light. You're someone that is now bestowing peace. You're emanating peace to everything around you, because we're all connected. You've joined God in God's plan for a new, enlightened humanity. So I'm going to conclude this, because my partner will be back here in a couple of minutes. Oh, I'm already over. I've got to do this fast. Can I have this last overhead, please? Last PowerPoint. This is from Stillness Speaks. Master Eckhart told, most people spend their entire life imprisoned within the confines of their own thoughts. They never go beyond a narrow, mind-made, personalized sense of self that is conditioned by the past. In you, as in each human being, there is a dimension of consciousness far deeper than thought. It is the very essence of who you are. We may call it presence, awareness, the unconditioned consciousness. In the ancient teachings, it is the Christ within you, or your Buddha nature. He's saying it all. That is the Creator within. That is the Christ within. That is the moral sentiment. The moral sentiment. And we thought you could throw out morality. We could actually legislate against morality. We could stop people from having a moment of silence in schools for children, because it's like you're trying to lead them towards something that we're not teaching here. What we are teaching is the rugged individualism of the body-minded self. That's what we're teaching in school, and as long as we are teaching that, we don't want anybody taking time out to maybe have a fleeting moment of the joy of being a universal soul going through a human experience. So, once again, we'll practice our presence with our beautiful Tibetan bowls. And just sitting here, being okay with ourselves at last. Just be totally okay, because even if you're not enlightened, you're still okay as far as the universe goes. You may just have to live a little longer to learn who you really are. So as we do this, just relax into the whole idea of being here, being alive, and being able to know. And when we get to that period of silence, if you don't have a particular meditation technique, you may just want to tune into this whole concept. There is only one everything. Only one. In you, in me, in everything we see. There is only one. Only one. Only God. As we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space, let's go forth with a greater determination to be awake in our living, awake to serve the moment in the inspiration of our divinity. And for this opportunity in every moment, we give thanks. To this we say, Amen. We have Easter tickets in the office. If you want to attend the Easter service, you have to sign up because we are still operating under the COVID restrictions. And we can only put, I don't know how many it is right now, but I think we can put 100 people in here, but that's it. So if you want to attend the Easter service, stop in the office and sign up. We will.
There's 2 services, right? 9 and 11.
Yeah, there'll be 2 services at 9 and 11. So let us now take an offering for unity. Bring to mind that financial gift you'd like to make so that we can continue to do the spiritual work that we do here at Unity of Boulder. And those of you that are watching this online, on screen, you can find a place on your screen to donate, or you can use any one of these particular ways to donate to Unity of Boulder. So let us bring to mind that financial gift we'd like to make, and let's bless it with this affirmative prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
Mother, I hear your heart beat. Hey-ya, 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 hey-yo. Hey-ya, 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 hey-yo. Father, I see you where eagles fly. Spirit's gonna take me higher. Spirit gonna take me higher. Hey-ya, 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 hey-oh. Hey-ya, 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 hey-yo. Hey-ya, 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 hey-yo. Hey-ya, 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 hey-yo.